Hi, and welcome again to the Performance Arcade's Counter Narratives. Today we're talking to Adam, so let's give him a call and see what's up. Hello, Adam.
Hi there, how you doing?
Good, good. Whereabouts are you, mate?
I'm in London, in England.
Oh, fantastic. Is it be nighttime over there?
It's 9:30 at night, yeah.
It got too cold yet?
It's this week it's dropped. Now it's heating time.
All right. And is that the famous latex costume in the background?
Yeah. Well, there's quite a few bits and bobs hanging up, and that's a roll of it that's dangling down off my table behind me. Yeah.
Do you want to just give us a quick overview of your two projects that you're doing?
Yeah, sure. So I'll be performing the machine, which is a large kind of cuboid structure that's completely covered in latex, and I get inside it and I'm completely sealed, so it's airtight in there, and using my breathing through a tube I slowly suck all the air out of this piece. And as I do that, the latex walls get closer and closer in on me. This takes about 15, 20, 25 minutes. And this kind of really slowly happens. And eventually, like, my human form starts to emerge. And then it keeps doing that gradually until it kind of it kind of gets to the final suction point, and where I'm totally vacuum packed. So I'm just like a human figure that looks like it's been kind of trapped in amber type look, and then using my breathing, I maintain the vacuum and I release it, and then keep it going, and it kind of goes in waves. Yeah.
Are you ever in any danger? It sounds kind of, I mean, it's traumatic, definitely, mate. But are you ever actually in any physical danger from it?
Well, I mean, in theory, I always work with the same people, and we've had lengthy discussions, and they've helped me perform for quite a few years, and so we're pretty clear on what's okay and what isn't okay, and what during the performance it kind of looks like things aren't going okay sometimes, because you're essentially hyperventilating for nearly half an hour, and so your body, or my body at least, goes into spasms. So my arms and legs start to shake and my hands claw. When I first did the performance, I didn't know this was going to happen, and I had all these ideas about these poses and stances I was going to do, and then my body just started doing this, and I kind of fought it for a while, and I just thought, well, this seems to be a part of it, and I just kind of allowed it to affect my body in the way that it was, and I didn't fight it. So there's a possibility you could faint or suffocate, but I like to think that I'm pretty conscious of health and safety, and I think it's more traumatic for people watching than it is for me.
Yeah, what kind of audience responses have you got? Gasps, screams, or has anyone tried to approach, or?
My dad came and saw me perform once, and he was very vocal to my friends that they should be letting me out because I'd had enough. But the response is kind of interesting. The response that I get from people is really, it can be very different. I suppose my work, I started making latex outfits for like fetish clubs, and so obviously latex is very strongly connected in people's minds with fetish and that kind of thing. And some people, when they see my work, that's their response. Some people see the influences that I have. For example, I go into the Victoria and Albert Museum and the British Museum, and they just have so many old stone sculptures and marble sculptures. And there's this particular room called the cast courts in the V&A, and they have casts of lots and lots of old and ancient sculptures, and I'm really inspired by those, and they've kind of really influenced my work. And some people just instantly see that and respond to that. There's a lot of unpleasant sounds during my performance because my breathing is so laboured, because it's so hard and it takes a long time. Those elements have triggered traumatic memories for people, and they found it quite difficult. And I've personally been in a situation where I've unfortunately seen or experienced people with serious health problems where have made unpleasant noises with their breathing. So I can understand the trauma that might trigger. It's certainly not intended to be a traumatic experience, but it is about the human body and pushing it and its fragility, but also its kind of resilience and its power. So it is... Every response I've had, I've been really interested in, and I've always found that every response is really relevant to elements of my work.
And what about the other piece that you'll be bringing over here as well?
The other piece is called the Diamond Angel, and that's more of a, you could call it wearable art piece. It was a part of a project I was making called Angels for Machines, and I made a series of these costumes which were like kind of connecting the human body with kind of mechanical or geometric shapes. And again, I seal my body into it, and using my breathing, I create a vacuum and I inflate it as well. So over the period of the performance, which is 25 minutes long to 30 minutes, it's kind of like this strange mechanical humanoid lung that's inflating and vacuuming tight. It's a lot more of a meditative piece, or at least for audience members. It's not traumatic like the machine. It kind of, and it's very, people respond to this one kind of quite, they seem to find it quite fun, because it's got like a fun robotic kind of look to it. It almost looks like it could belong to a manga strip, or is something in an anime. And people often kind of make the connection that it looks like a robot or a transformer, which I kind of, all those things are influential in my work as well. So I'd say that is that's on the nose as well for a part of it.
So we've got one piece with more of an anime transformer vibe, and then another piece with more of a Victorian kind of vibe as well. It sounds really interesting to bring those to Wellington, which has a strange, obviously I haven't been here before, but it has a strange combination of Victorian statues and giant robots, anime clubs. I think you're going to find a perfect blend over here, mate.
Yeah, that's something that really struck me when I came to Wellington. I felt like I was kind of coming to a version of a past England in a way, or not. Maybe that's not quite right. But I certainly saw all the influences that probably came from the UK, and I felt weirdly connected to it, to the place, and I think that my work will kind of morph into the space quite comfortably.
Cool. Adam, thank you very much for your time, mate. Look forward to seeing you over here.
Yeah, I can't wait to come.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
And that concludes this counter narrative. We'll see you again here at the Performance Arcade.